Hello and welcome to another weekly live stream. Tonight we'll be messing with physics controls. Down there in the middle bottom there is the the super secret link to download the game. Soon to be public in the June release. I think I'm going to make it public. That's the plan anyway. So there won't be a password anymore. It'll be on the regular download page. Anyway, before too much longer, let's go ahead and get started. What we see down there are the patrons, the folks who are super supportive and help keep the lights on. And without too much further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Also in the upper left is the also the link. So if you didn't grab it before, you can grab it then. That's also where you can join the Discord. Good people on the Discord. Sometimes we have some interesting conversations there. So before we get started, I'm going to go over what I got done last weekend, which is pretty cool. I think I'm going to freeze time so that we don't have to, we can keep the lights on. So what I've done is add versioning into the world. So like right now, if we go and we say revs, it'll tell us there's we can't really see it, but it's telling us that there's no revisions for this area. But if I then, I've got a mark that I set before, but if I start editing things, now it'll tell me that I've got a revision back there. Oops. So yeah, so basically on the 25th at 9 o'clock or whatever, or is that 9 or is it, yeah, like almost 10 o'clock, I think. I created a revision, so any changes after that, we'll make a backup. And so if I wanted to go restore this, I can say revs recover, and it'll show me a list of the revisions, and I can go back to this revision, and it'll remove that stuff. If I had marked it first, I could go back again. But let's say I edit this again. And then I want to, these are admin commands, by the way, for a server. So if I go revs mark, it'll mark a revision for now, right? And then I can add additional stuff. And so then I can say revs mark again. And so we get 2 marks. And so now if I go revs recover, hey Ron, how's it going? So now if I go revs recover, I get a list of, I may not actually, so I can go back to today, and it'll get rid of that. And when I did that, it should also have rolled another version. Yeah, so if I do revs recover again, because I marked it before I backed it up, I can quickly put that back if I decided I really wanted it. So anyway, it gives a server admin control over sections of the world. 32 by 32 sections can be rolled back to specific dates and times. If there were branches marked, and branches are free. Like I showed you, that mark is set, but if I come far enough away, because there have been no edits to this section of the world, if I've reviewed the revisions here, there are none because there have been no edits here. So I can mark it as often as I want. They're free until edits are made, and then it kind of like sets a break point where I can go back. Hey, Galactic Taco. Whoop, message is retracted. Hey, how's it going? So for server admins, you can set it up to like every midnight, mark a version, and it's free. Doesn't do anything unless people come and mod it or modify things in the world. And so for a server admin, that's very useful if you have a griefer come in and just come and destroy a bunch of stuff or create giant penises everywhere or something. You can easily go in and revert back to a previous version and sort of nerf that player or do whatever you want to kind of control your server. For me, this was the very, very minimum feature I needed as a server admin to make my server public. There's other things I need to do. I think there's still some bugs in what it allows to happen in certain areas. Like I think that you can place or move objects that you didn't place or something in protected areas. So there's still some protection bugs that I have to work out, but as far as the minimum server admin stuff, that is it, to be able to bulk edit. What I really want to do is have it a special admin tool on the map where I could zoom in and I could see all the zones, so I could just click on them and revert them back from the map, which would be super cool. But that's a problem for another day. So I just wanted to show everyone that there is progress being made in the background, other than just these never-ending saga of pathfinding stuff. But now that we're talking about pathfinding, yeah, if you wonder what these things are over here, I had the idea of what if different areas of the world had like random symbols incorporated into their architecture for religion or other means. And so I was playing with the idea of, can you just half arrange a bunch of blocks in a 3x3 grid and mirror them and get some interesting shapes. So I kind of like that idea that certain area of the world would have like different shapes. These would be, of course, shrunk down to like window size tiles, but things that could be incorporated into the architecture that kind of signify different areas of the world, sort of culture and stuff. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. I was just playing around one night and I wanted to play the game, so I needed an excuse, and that was my excuse that night. So anyway, that was what I'd gotten done for the server admin. For the pathfinding stuff, I've been essentially doing tons and tons of design work based on the prototyping we've done. Where is it? Yeah, so based on the prototyping we've done, I've been trying to like corral it into something that I can turn into actual Java code. Thanks, Ramkram. That I can corral into actual Java code and figure out, how I build that up from the prototype stuff we've been working on in the. So I did a ton of writing, and I've come down to sort of what we had already kind of talked about. The next step being was, when when we're moving the player around, whether the AI is steering it or whether the player is moving it, it's basically interpreting the environment and turning that into forces. And what I want to do is I want to standardize that so that the same one could be used for the player as is used for the NPCs. Now there's some fundamental differences in how they control, because the player can instantly look in every direction, whereas the NPCs have sort of a turn rate. But still, the fundamental thing is, I'm moving in this direction, and I'm going up a hill. I don't want to slide all the way back the hill, so managing those forces to detect, the ground angle and figuring out what the API needs to look like so that whatever is doing that force calculation knows enough to know that even though I'm standing still, I want to hold position on this hill. Even if it's 45 degrees, I can stand here, it's fine, but I need to exert a force to do that, because the physics bodies are actually just smooth little balls on the bottom, right? So they'll slide around if they're not constantly sort of exerting a force. And there's not really any good amount of friction you can do, and certainly the friction of the surfaces will come into play at some point, as well the strength of the character and whether they're being hit by other things, and all these things will come into play. But I want to standardize it so that the NPCs behave the same way as the player. And then where is the line drawn between what is movement and what is animation, and how the two interact. This is important. So this is the standard thing, right? When we walk into this step, we want to trigger the step up animation. I think that needs to be a part of this physics control too, because a bird would just fly, a ball would roll, a person would step up. All of these things are sort of, the forces involved are different. And so I think this is sort of the fundamental core thing I need to get right, and then build up the rest of the stuff from that. So that's what we'll start with tonight. And so what I did was I started making it so that I can plug in a camera, not a camera control, but a player control, so that I can control all that. And so I tried to build some of this infrastructure in before the stream started, so that we can sort of hit the ground running. I didn't quite finish, so you get to see kind of where we are. So what I've got it set up right now is, you can create the mob. And normally what I'm doing is I'm using WASD, the WASD, to rotate around, and I can use the Q. Whoever is designing that Rising World game is on the same wavelength as you for many of the systems. Yeah, I got that impression when I watched a video of someone playing it. I got this. I think they're, I think they're farther along in some areas and not as far along in others as far as where I want to go. But it looked interesting just the same. So I added this control button, and once I press that, like my mouse will go away and all my control keys go away. You can see the logs spinning down there at the bottom, but they're basically, as I move the WASD, you can see those Vec3Ds changing. They're pretending to be like a joystick, right, as I'm trying to move this character forward, but I haven't actually hooked up any forces or anything. That's what we're going to do. And it's not setting the camera angle. It should be putting the camera behind that NPC's head or that mob's head. So, anyway, what I always find comforting is I've spent so much time on regarding Rising World. Your mention of Rising World, I've spent so much time stretching my horizons out to 8 kilometers or whatever, and so it does make me feel better when these games that are doing similar things or in many ways have more advanced features in some areas, right? They're still limited by that clip because the choices they've made have limited their clip and so on, and it's sort of a fundamental shift. So I'm at least ahead there because it's a significant change. It's like an exponential complexity to go up to a far clip, and I've got that one, not generation done, but I've got the basics of it done at least. So anyway, so what we're going to be doing is hooking up this control, and I've got I'm back to the non-Mythruna specific. Yeah, what is the max clip in that game? Just curious. Sweet Pepsi. So anyway, so I'm back in the the what I call the ugly prototype because it doesn't have any of the characters and stuff, and so that's what I was working on before the live stream because I'm building this into the rigger tool itself. The ability to swap out the so the movement target, the SIO2, which is one of my core game libraries, is already open sourced. It ties a lot of my other game libraries together in a way that you can sort of quickly put together games. And one of the things it includes is a camera controller, so that if you have, or a character controller kind of thing, if you want the standard WASD mouse look stuff, it builds that in, and it can target a sort of what it calls a movement target. This can be directly moving the camera or moving a character or whatever. In this case, so we've already got WASD hooked up, and so I've got the printing out this stuff, and so when I engage that by clicking this control, you can't. That's what we were seeing in that console that you kind of see the very corner of spinning down below, and then I hit escape to like cancel that control, and I can get back into the game. But this is what we're going to be building out initially. What I want to do next, and I'm going to have to unfortunately shut the app down a couple times to do this, is in the thing that handles that, I've got this wrapper class that I want to use to set the camera to be behind the object. And to do that, I may actually have to. I may not be able to do that because this doesn't know where the character is, and it's definitely dependent on this. So I wanted to build it into the playground state itself, so it was just part of the application, but I may actually have to build it into this, which wouldn't be awful, I guess. Alright, then let's run. Okay. I was just wondering what their far clip is. I see Ron disappear and show up as Oak Storm, and I know he switched computers. For those of you who don't know, Ron or Oak is one of the original Mythruna players from way back in the day, and built some cool stuff in that world back when it was still around. Okay, so let's total view distance 50 chunks, detailed 10 chunk building 50 chunks. So 50 chunks, and how big are their chunks, do you know? Okay, so we want to create a mob, put her here, and then I think I can, I believe, let's move this down here so we can continue to see it when, let's turn these guys off. We don't need to see all that. Yeah. It's complicated. But I feel like I'm on the verge of an explosion of progress. But I've been feeling like that for the last 4 months, so I don't know how real it is. I'm hoping like by the end of the summer we can get to where I'm doing modeling again on the streams and stuff, where we're adding new mob types and stuff. That would be cool. Okay, what was I going to do? Yes, I want to see if I can get the camera. I think, let's, def camera equals, I think I can cheat and do get application, get camera, and then in here, set the camera. Let's see if the rotation will work. Camera set rotation to rotation.to quaternion. Okay, so that will do that. And then, so let's say if I control, yes. Okay, so that's working. I can't actually move, and I haven't, and it doesn't put me behind the player. But hey, we're getting close. Escape, and then yeah, cool. Cool. Yeah, it's funny, like not last weekend, but the weekend before I spent some time playing Oblivion Remastered. And it really reminds me of how much of Elder Scrolls and games like that are built into my DNA at this point. A nice dedicated server app, and the storms are crazy. Nice. So we got the camera. What if we set the camera, set location? I actually think that the agent, get rigid body position .2 vector 3f. I think this is going to be wrong by a factor of 4, but we'll see. Yeah, it's coming. I'm coming with mine. Every time I watch the clouds roll by outside, I like, I really need to get to that. Okay, so I can't really tell if what we're doing is real. So what we want to do is I think I want to stick something in the update here that so let's add something to the body state for a minute. That, let's just call it cam controller. Sure. And then what do I want that to do? I think I just want it to run every frame if it's set. It's not going to be fancy. Update body. So where do we do the... Oh, that's in the other. Okay, so let's do... I keep forgetting. I did a bunch of advanced stuff in the other one. We're kind of hacking into the new one. I'm going to have to redo it when I move back to the Mythruna specific stuff. So if state cam controller not equal to this is doing what do we end up with that we trying to make the minimal amount of changes, and this is using move. So I think we're okay to override here. Cam controller, and we'll pass it move. For a minute. Else. I can't type. It's important to be able to type on a live stream. Okay, so I think that if I come down here and where is the agent already the state? Ooh. No. Excuse me. Then what we want to do is we want to say state.cam, what do I call it? Cam controller? Cam controller, yep. Move, blink. And def, what do I want to call it? Move input equals dovec3d. So move dot set move input, and we're gonna have some issues, I think. And so then in here, I want to say move dot set movement forces. So basically, we're just mapping the input to the forces directly. So if I say control, ooh, bad. Checked exceptions suck. They do indeed. No such property move. Line 1270. Oh, state.move. Yep. Good times. wind and storms will play a significant role in Mythruna because of airships and sailing ships. And the trick will be that avians are supposed to be able to detect the weather. And how I envision that working right now, from a UI perspective, is hold on, I gotta excuse me. I actually don't know. They might end up with a little symbol in the corner or something, but the idea is in Mythruna, there's that in the middle of the screen, there's that little orb that's your like sort of cursor, your crosshair, your reticle, and that will serve different functions for different types of characters. Like, I imagine that characters that can smell things might get some indication of smells on there. If you know, like for metalworking and stuff, maybe when you're looking at a piece of metal, you can tell how hot it is by the color of the little orb or whatever. And so I kind of want to incorporate sort of the weather sense into that. Like, if it gets cloudy, then storms are coming or something like that. Maybe in the direction. I haven't really decided. It's also quite probable that it's too distracting, and I'll have to put it down in one of the corners or down in the center or something. But I wanted it to be subtle enough that I could put it in the middle, because I like the idea of giving the player sensory inputs that they kind of have to learn what they mean. So it's not like 100% obvious. It's subtle enough that they have to pay attention. Kind of like how some old video games used to, like, the walls would look a little different when they were secret, so you knew there, but you had to look really close to see it. It wasn't, that kind of thing. I haven't really figured it out, but that's the kind of vibe I'm going for. I like minimal UIs that are diegetic, which means that most of the UI is in the game. Anyway, so now we should be able to control and not blow up. Nope. We blew up. We blowed up. Blown up, sir. Cam controller. No signature method. Cam controllers are type Vec 3D. That's in line 1270 also. Right here. Oh, I'm constantly doing this, forgetting to put the state, because I'm used to working in the actual driver where I actually have all of these. I don't have to defer to them. Yeah, how far back is the live stream? Okay, so it's not, the stream itself isn't too far back, but you guys are saying that the chat is really slow. And I just don't know how to fix that, other than moving to a different platform. Alright. Boink, 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 boink. Alright, let's just see. Controls are going to blow up again? Yes. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't. No such property move for setup driver 2006. That is true, because it's called move input. So good old compiler errors. Yeah, sorry about that. Let me see if there's a setting in the live stream. Well, I mean, it's too late to change it now. Alright, there's stream settings. Yeah, it's at low latency. And this isn't too far behind for me. It is a little bit far behind. I guess it's probably 30 seconds. That's probably a really weird Drost effect for you guys. The Drost effect is when a picture has a picture of the picture in it, which has a picture of the picture and a picture of the picture and so on. it's called the Drost effect because I guess there was like a oatmeal brand or something called Drost that did it the first time, or something that had like some brand of something had a picture of the product with a picture of the product on it with a picture of the product and so on. Like if a box of cereal shows itself on the front of the box of cereal. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, let's just try to control. Okay, so at least we okay. We are getting... It's hard for you guys to see it, but the little green... Let me turn off some of these. Probe shapes, probe contacts. Okay, so when let's zoom in. Center, camera, zoom in. And so now when I go to control, it's going to move my camera anyway. But as I move my cursor, you can kind of see the green lines, and they're trying to take me around, but for whatever reason the forces are not engaging. But it is steering. It's just not steering, you know what I mean? So that's all hooked up. Now I just need to debug why it's not using that. So we set state move, and then we don't do any of this stuff. So we're going to skip this block. Actually, I can go like this, Control M. And then, it's all part of the new steering. I can't skip that block. I have to say, like we did in the other prototype, boom, 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 boom. Override steering equals false. Okay, so this has to be doink, doink, doink. And then we can say if not override steering, and in here, if not override steering, and okay, and all those are debug stuff, and then down here is where we do the movement. Okay, so this, if it doesn't blow up, okay, so our camera's not in the right place. 13 seconds. I guess that's not awful. Okay, so now we should be able to move. Now we're not even getting the... Alright. Okay, so that doesn't work. Let's do this differently. If not, override steering. And then... It's kind of ugly. Control. No. So something else is overriding that. No, we don't have an alt probe. I think I can just comment this out as we're not using that. Let's print move. It is using move. I mean, we're not going to see it because there's too much other logging. Something in here. Oh, pfft, I'm an idiot. I never set the flag, so. Okay, so now we should be able to. Okay, but why aren't you going? Alright. What were we setting the steering values to before? So we're definitely getting move values. And yeah, so let's see if the up and down stuff is working. Because we should be getting up, up, and away. Nope. So we're setting it, but for some reason it's not going in. Well, let's turn this off for a second so that I can see what's going on in here. Log info move. Boink. Alright. Control. Move. Okay, so move is getting overridden somewhere. No. How if it's okay, so let's look at what the we're doing state.move. We never set it back again. That's what it is. Else move.set state.move. Too many moves. This is why you don't name variables the same, fields the same. Okay, so we should be able to move around now. Whee! We can turn. We can run. Yeah. So yeah, we're like exactly 4 times the position we're supposed to be. Alright, that is fixable. I think that if I mult I think that does it. Let's see, control. Oh yeah, I'm right inside the I should be right inside the mob. I'm surprised we can't see her at all, though. So anyway, so the next thing would be to so campus equals agent body dot position campus dot add. Let's add a half 0.5 is almost a full meter. Add local, or it's not going to show up at all. Oops. And f distance equals 1 for now. Campus dot add local camera dot get I think campus dot get times distance. Oops, mult distance. Something's going to be unhappy with that. It'll be subtract local anyway. Alright, let's see what's going to blow up. Whee! Yeah, I got something wrong. No signature method, add local is applicable for... Oh, yes, of course. Alright. I think this is going to fail also, but let's see. Start simulation. Alright. Subtract locals applicable for vector 3f. Yeah, I thought that was going to be the case. Alright, try again. Thing is, I thought I fixed it so that these wouldn't crash the whole application when they fail to compile it. Or when they... I think that maybe it's the... yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I fixed that. Okay. So control. Oops. No signature method. Subtract locals applicable type. It's not. Oh. I screwed up. Changed the wrong line. Sorry about that, guys. Control. Alrighty. Well, so we can work it. We need to probably make the camera based on the it's funny that, oh yeah, because we're not updating when we're in the control. It didn't update those things, which is fine. I don't really care right now. Should probably turn them off, to be honest. Okay, so we can control her now. I would like the camera to be facing her direction and not the mouse direction. For this type of target, anyway. Excuse me. So all of that setting is good. I think, though, for... Let's do def_dir equals... agent.get rigid body orientation mult vec3d unit z, and then instead of this we'll just do dir. Alright. So now it should be whatever the body position is. Yeah, check it out. Although it's weird, my camera oh boy. The mouse still overrides the look. That's not supposed to happen. Oh, I know why that's happening. Okay. Okay, so then because we're... Oh, yeah, because... Okay. Because we set the rotation here. That's what we don't want to do. Let's set our rotation to be this. And then control. Okay, yeah, now my mouse doesn't do anything. And yeah, as I turn her, I would probably like my mouse to be more of a chase cam, but anyway, so she should be able to walk up ramps, but she won't be able to, yeah, she won't be able to stay on them. Yeah, I need to be able to move my mouse relative to her anyway, because I can't see. Oh, can she fly? Show the steering vectors. Okay, so she doesn't have enough. Oh, we zero that out. That's why she can't fly. Anyway, we get to the point. Let me get the camera positioned correctly, because that's going to drive me nuts. So let's see, def rotation equals blink, blink, blink. And then rotation equals rotation dot mult new plot D from angles. We want to look down just slightly, which I think is, we're either going to look down just slightly or up just slightly. We'll see. Oh, that's going to be wrong. Cam rotation. And actually, I could have multiplied this rotation by that anyway. And then maybe a little further back. Alright, let's see what that looks like. Probably looking up at the sky. Nope. Why is this back to... Oh, okay. Something got it screwed up. Oh. Because this didn't get changed to cam rotation. Alright. Alright, control. Oh, okay, so now we're way too far behind her. That's how fast a mob can turn, by the way. Yeah, she doesn't have the, yeah, so that's a problem too. So now we're too far away. Too far away. Let's try 1.25. Yeah, that'll work. It's close enough. Can she walk up the... Nope, she doesn't have enough power to walk up the ramp. I think this one is still based on like the steering values are not controlling the speed, or not, there's no default speed. So she walks very slow. So if we're doing this, yeah, she's walking at just... that's funny. Yeah, so just over 1 meter per second. 1.8 looks like. Let's make it the first value. 1.8, yeah. But the value we're sending is actually... Yeah. So now we get to the meat and potatoes. And the thing is, like, every time we turn, it's always max speed. Oh boy, yeah. So I may need to, yeah, I mean, steering usually doesn't steer at max speed. So that's a issue as well. Um, okay, but we're getting to the point where we can start messing with what we're here to mess with. And she can't, even with running, she can't get up the... But again, this prototype doesn't have all this fancy stuff we added in the Mythruna prototype, so I think I'm going to have to like install this and move over to the other one. I mean, it only takes a second, and then we have to copy that code over. I think we got everything we need from a coding perspective. Let's put this back over here. So how's everybody's week been going? At my job, the layoff notices finally came through for the folks that are no longer going to be on the project. Fortunately, I'm still on the project, but we lost like 10 people. Good old budget cuts. Okay. What was I going to do? Oh yes, back over. So I need to copy this over to the other one. Let's put this on the bottom. And copy the other thing over as well. Oops, wrong file. Okay. This. I figured out how to do API calls with Power Automate so I can pull SharePoint data. Oh, neat. Automation's fun. Like, you feel really powerful when you can get that working. Okay, so I think actually the old setup driver is already, because it had the other new steering and override steering for the animated actions, which I kind of think, so override steering equals true. I think that's all we need. There was something else though. Oh yeah, because we've already wired the, okay, so this one should work. Yeah, I went to another open mic night on Wednesday and I tanked it bad. I stunk up the place. I played some songs that were not quite under my fingers yet. My name is Raw. Oh yeah, haven't done the import. And then they were songs that are also kind of hard to breathe through. And so between all of that, like I was totally out of breath at one point, and I just had to stop and I literally like just paused and went, you know, jokingly, you know, everyone understood at that point, and so the audience had a good laugh. I like to believe they were laughing with me, but probably was a little bit of laughing at me too. I feel like it's kind of important to every now and then do stuff that terrifies you. Because now it feels like those songs are a lot easier to play. Now that I've already train wrecked them in front of others. Yeah, even the song I already knew how to play, it didn't go well. So, trying harder for next time to play songs I already know. Alright, let's make our human female. There she is. We've got the control. Control. Hey, look at that fade. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, movement's not hooked up yet. Alright, so it's not equal to null. Override steering is true. We pass in state.move. Oh, we clear state.move right there though. How's that work then? Oh, rig move. Yeah. There we go. Alright. Now, control. We. Okay, yeah, so now she jogs at a regular. It feels really weird to have that slidiness when she turns really quickly. I guess you guys can't necessarily see what I'm talking about. But if she's running really fast in a particular direction and I turn really fast, she slides to the side for a second. She like skids around the corners. And I don't think that happens with the regular player controller, so I'm a little concerned. Yeah, because like I wonder though if that's the same reason we go sliding down the hills. So she should be able to walk up this. I wonder if the reason I say that is because like here, like I can't walk up this right now even with running on, but if I turn off the controls, it's center again, center camera, keep it for ice surfaces. Yeah, I mean that's the idea. There should be some friction, but it should be controlled by me or by the application, not just random. So see if I put her up here, she can walk up there. No. Oh. We never null out that, yeah. That's going to be a problem. Since we never null out that controller, I have to reset the script every time I want to stop controlling her. But if I arrive up here, she will walk up there. So there must be something in the steering that's making it so she can walk up. And of course down looks a little weird. No, actually it's okay. But if I control her again and try to walk up this, I wonder if I can. Whee! Oh, okay. Well, hitting the up is yeah. So hitting max up is one thing. I think we have the up force set really high. Yeah, because I barely touch that and she goes flying in the air. So it's kind of like a jump almost. But that's what it is that the default steering, which it should not be part of the steering, it should be part of the mover. And this is what I was saying. And this is, we're getting to the crux of what we're trying to work on tonight, which is good because we're only halfway through the stream. But when we're walking straight up a ramp, it should take her desired direction into account and adjust the up vector. You kind of like I was trying to do before, where I was trying to figure out what her direction vector should be based on, you know, the slope, which I did eventually figure out the math, by the way. Anyway, so this is interesting. We get right into what I need to be working on. but I kind of want to do this completely separate, so I'm not, because I'm already, we had like a completely working demo, or completely working prototype for playing with pathfinding and all that other stuff. And the more I edit in here, the more it's going to break that. And so I'm thinking of just disabling this driver and creating a specific driver for messing with the body movers. So I'm going to say, let's set up controller. The only downside is I'll have to restart the... So if we come back over to... Let's open... Where's the JSON? Set up driver .groovy, and we should be able to, actually it might reload. So let's do set up controller. Is it controllers or controller? Controller. Nope, reloaded setup driver.groovy. So it's still got all of this stuff. So let me restart real quick. I really wish this had been more granular because I could have... Actually, I can. I won't need path data for this, so let's do this. I think I can just say enabled false. And then we'll create a separate one, controller mod.json. This is the nice thing about having incorporated my actual module system. Set up controller. Gives me a bit of extra infrastructure for enabling and disabling, because that's all built into the... Let's see if I screwed something up. So we should still be able to create mobs, but they should have like no capabilities at all. So if I go over here and I start the simulation, it'll either blow up or we get, so let me create a human female, create the mob, boink. Okay, so I missed something. Cannot invoke scriptable driver set speed. Oh, we do still have to set a driver because of recent changes. So I've got to steal a little bit of the code from here. And we'll go ahead and steal, I mean, it'll save us time. And then to have all these in there already. So setup driver, we're going to need, let's steal these so that we have a log if we want it. Line width, we can set the line width, that's good, good. It is looking for scriptable driver. Yeah. So we still will need this. And right. And here's where we set it. And so Let's steal these. New body speed, which we won't have body states right now, so we'll comment this out. And new body contact's going to be similar. So actually, let's go ahead and steal body state for the moment. It will save me time later. And okay, let's look up body index. All right. Body state, we don't have anything in there right now, that's fine. For the moment, we'll add a cam controller. So this should still work. Oops. We'll add a movement speed. What was the movement speed here? It's default to 1. Yep. Don't think we need it, but I just don't want to. Just trying to save myself time. New contact. Oh, new body contact. Okay. New body contact. We don't do anything with it. And then next thing will be update body. Body index put. Is it driver? Or yeah, I think it is. Driver state. Alright, that should give us the minimum we need to create a character, I think. Earlier today I was huddling with one of the developers at work over Slack and helping them do some coding stuff. Yay! Okay, so I'm going to really miss that center camera button. Going to have to add that very first thing. That should still work. That should still work. That should still work. And I recognized that, like, I was talking so fast that it made it really hard to, like, I'm jumping all over the code. My brain was like making leaps, and I was sort of dropping breadcrumbs along the way, and there was no way that made sense to anybody. And so I felt really bad. But sometimes that happens to me on the live stream too. My brain is 3 steps beyond, and then I have to stop for a second, figure out where I am. Okay, so we've got a blank slate for implementing a character controller. We are going to steal also the control thing here. And this probably won't work. Wait, let me make sure. All of that will work. That will work, but it's not going to do anything. But that's what we're here for. Okay. So this should work and not do anything. won't. I think it'll set the camera to be behind her, but I can't control her. But that's okay. And so then we can put some magic in here to use the physics forces, and we're on our. Then Bob's your uncle. We're on our way. So that is this stuff. But we're going to need more. I'm just trying to hack it in right now. So I'm going to put big giant I'm just trying to make it work. This is not the real code. So state.yaw, state. Okay, we don't have a state.yaw or a state.pitch. Yaw equals 0.0, pitch equals 0.0. Oops. Technically, I guess I don't need the defs. Rig move. Rig move equals new vec3d state dot. Yes, we don't have a def input equals new vec3d for now. Then, so this gets, since it's hacked code, I don't want to spend too much time. Move input, move set, cam controller. Oh, yeah. That's right. It doesn't actually, we didn't do that before. It's right in the cam controller. So we'll mess with that in a minute. So this is fine. If state.cam controller is not equal to null, state.cam controller rig move. So that should set the move at least. State.yaw will mess with. That still works. That still works. Target velocity, yes. We don't calculate a ground velocity. That's something we will need to do. We don't calculate a ground normal, which is something we'll need to do, but not yet. And we don't have a near avoidance, so we can't do that. Okay, so let's see if we blow up. No such blah 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 is available for argument types. 120. Oh yeah, I have leaked these little utility methods that I wrote. Yeah. Actual velocity. Oh yeah, we're not calculating the actual velocity. So we'll need that. These are going to be part of some other kind of object, right? That's keeping track of the state and the ground speed. Because we're going like the actual velocity and the ground velocity, and then your actual velocity is relative to your ground velocity. Like if you're standing on a moving ship, you know, or something that's moving along at a decent clip. State.actual velocity. Okay, cool. So we might actually be in a position to walk around again. Yes. Okay. See, we're not animating her at all, right? That code didn't get copied over, and that's fine. That body type specific stuff. We technically don't need it yet. What I would like now is to put some of the contact debug back in, because I don't think, I don't know that this will show me. I mean, I guess it technically is. But it's not as nice as the other one, and it doesn't use the line width. So we will, oh yeah, let's put like one way over here. So we'll turn this off. Center camera. Okay, there she is. All right, we're cooking with the gas now. Like, how fast can we get this done? So in my design, trying to figure out how much to pull this in. There's like there legitimately is a certain amount of like context, body context we need. Trying to remember if I even bothered to write it down. Oh yeah, see, I went through AI stuff. Try to figure out how Mob gets from his house to his... Somewhere I thought I had a list of things that the... Nope. That's not the thing I'm looking for. Calculate frame specific body state. We're going to need the actual velocity of what we're standing on. We're going to need to know that we're on the ground. So we'll either have the ground velocity or we won't. We also need to know the slope of the ground, which could be tricky. So for the moment, let us add the debugging that we need so we can see these different contacts. So for the moment, let's just add them up. Okay, and then so each frame let's check this out of here. Each frame, ed remove entity it. That should still all work. Do search for cached contact entities for state.conf. Okay. And then at the beginning, let's steal some code where we debug these over here. Oh yeah. Just to make sure they get cleaned up. Okay, contact entities. Show probe contacts. So we're gonna change this a little bit. Oh, why did I do it as... Oh, because originally I was gonna reuse the old entities. So we create the entity, we grab its stuff. And we got his contact point, and it's contact normal. We'll call these raw contacts. Color green. Body position 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if this works at all, I should get little contact arrow right there. And so then, wow, something is very unhappy. Oh, brother, what have I done? Print line, size, contact, entities, dot size. Oh boy, okay. Oh yeah, state. Oh, I never clear them. But it's still going up every time. That's not good. Our frame rate is so awful. Yes, it's not really cleaning them up. That's bad. But it's also not resetting my script. Let's just kill it. Start it over. Oh, I'm not clearing the contact entities either, or the contacts. That is the issue. Oh, this was still true anyway. So let's set it to false for a second, but right here I have to clear it. Or at the bottom of the method I have to clear it to make sure that it's reset for next time. Because the life cycle is that we get called with our update, then it will integrate the physics, so it will apply the forces and things to the physics object, and then we get a list of contacts from that. Oops, I hadn't saved. And then we'll create the mob. But I wasn't clearing those every frame, and so it just kept adding new ones. Center camera. Okay. So now we should be able to set this back to true. Because, yeah, so every one of these new bodies we add to that, but then we clear them at the bottom of the method. So we have them in here to mess with. Yeah, so that should never be more than 1 or 2 or 3. So we see the one below our feet. Maybe you can see it. I think I should make it something other than green. Maybe cyan was actually a pretty good color. Let's start red. Red will be the ones we haven't assigned any purpose to yet. Yeah, so then if I control her, we should see that she should get some different ones as we walk up, try to walk up these hills. Yes, she's got one that's, we're going uphill, right? Hey, we can walk up the hills now, by the way. Yeah, so there was something else preventing it from happening before. Well, she runs pretty fast, too. Oh, you know, it could be because we're not animated. Sometimes the animation creates its own friction. Oh no, we can't get up this hill. Even though we could get up the other one, the other one. They're same shallow hill. I guess we are kind of getting up it slowly but surely. Why am I not going in the direction I'm headed? Oh, I can't tell really. No, she's walking sideways, right? I bet it's because we're at an angle. We're on a slope. Yeah, see now it's going straight up and down. Okay, so what we want to have happen is that, I mean, ultimately based on our strength and all that other good stuff and how tired we are and stuff, we should walk up a hill. You know, ideally, if we're not tired and we have reasonable strength and so on, we should walk up a hill like this, the same speed we walk in the ground, because we would adjust the amount of force we're using. We might get a little more tired walking up the hill the whole time, but we would still walk at the same speed. And so I need to, instead of sending her straight, like right now I'm sending her straight into the hill, and in reality we would turn her vector up to be along the slope. So let's calculate a ground slope, turn her direction into something that's along the ground slope. Hopefully I can work out that math in the live stream. We're behind where I wanted to be, but that's okay. So if we're going to go through the contacts at all, let's move this inside here. Oh yeah, I don't need to change that. Okay, so now oh yeah. So I can do things with the contacts and optionally display them. And actually, let's go ahead and do this too. So for contact normal, see there's different kinds of contacts we'll get. Like if I make her walk into the wall, we should get a contact that's directly on. Like you can't see, yeah, you can down at the bottom. Right, we're running into that wall, yeah, so you can kind of see it as we drag along the wall. We're getting contacts with that wall. Those we can't stand on, so we don't care about those. We do care about the ones that we can stand on. So, let us... Yeah, I forgot I can get rid of the menus. So, upness. Oops, blablabla. Upness equals cn dot vector vec3d unit y. So if it's 1, we're pointing straight up. If it's the square root of 2, is that what I'm thinking of? Or no, it's like half the square root of 2, right? What am I thinking? Oh, what am I doing? That was square root already. What I was trying to think of this. Yeah, so it's like half of that. Divided by 2. Whatever it is, it's the cosine of 45 degrees or the sine of 45 degrees. So 0.7 is 45 degrees. So we'll like set it to, yeah, anything above 0.7 means we can stand on it. Otherwise it's like that steep kind of thing. Technically anything, yeah, anyway. There's a, eventually we'll have like some upness. Okay, so let's set color equal to color RGBA.red. So if upness is greater than 0.7, about 45 degrees, this will be a parameter later. let's set the color to be something we can stand on, and we'll change this color here. Ooh, somebody's making dinner. It's making me hungry. Alright, so, yep, so now we've got this versus, if we control her again into the wall, get like the red ones. So the red ones are not things we can stand on, and the blue ones are things we can stand on. And so as we come up here, oops, yep, see, it's still something we can stand on. And then over here we have a steeper hill, because I had the foresight to include a steeper hill, but it's 45 degrees, and we can still, according to this, whoa, I hit the up. That's something we'll have to fix. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, in fact, why don't I fix that real quick right now? Because we give upness a lot, right? Let's just change this to blink. And so now let's see what happens if I control her and then I hit the up. Nothing. Ooh, that's not good either. That makes no sense. I guess it does. Let's see if I shift and up. Yeah, okay, so 2 makes her go up, but 1 won't make her go up. It will, like, slow her down. It slows down her fall. Okay, so that's like right on the border. Probably, if I sat and thought about it for a minute, I could work out why that math is based on the gravity. I bet it's 1.8. I was just trying to figure out what. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Part of it's this too, the fact that we're multiplying everything by 50. Now it shouldn't actually matter how, like, I could set this to 250 and it shouldn't actually affect my top speed, because, oh, it does though, but it should not, because our desired velocity should be limiting. Wow, that's pretty cool though. It's like, but that's why we're floating around the corners too, by the way, because the force is not being applied correctly, right? So we're bouncing all over the place. It's supposed to take into account my desired velocity against my actual velocity. Right, see, target velocity is an actual velocity, which means if I'm already going faster, then it shouldn't, my force should be negative, right? If my target velocity is moving at 3 meters per second, but I'm already moving at 6 meters per second, I should move at 3 meters per second backwards. But that appears not to be happening. And it's because we are not calculating actual velocity, ladies and gentlemen. We've got it, but we don't calculate it. And we can actually calculate actual speed while we're at it. And we need all of this. And this we do before steering or before anything. Yeah, okay. So this is the issue. That's why I'm floaty around the corners too. So before we do anything else, Okay, that should have been okay. Ooh, no. Fade, why are you doing that? Okay, so something is not right. Oh, I gotta get rid of that debug thing. Okay, so now she's stopped. What if we control her? Control. Oh, yeah, so this is... Okay, so she's got... Basically, there's jitter in the math, which makes her slide along. But otherwise, her top speed is going to be the same. Oh, I'm not showing velocity anymore. Okay. So that's another thing we'll fix. Where do I set that? This right here. Boom, 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 boom. All right. So yeah, like my velocity is drifting because of this. I'm zeroing out the actual velocity if it's less than a certain amount, but that's wrong because I'm going to be counteracting that. Right now, oh, so that's not good either. So actual velocity should still be accurate. And then what I can also do that I never did in the other, oops, double. Then here, I can set state.actual speed. And then down here, I can make another one of these. That's the speed. And then we don't have to interpret that weird. Let's just call it speed. Speed. I am speed. Agent. Shoot. So I will have to get the. And then speed equals state dot actual speed. Speed. See if that works. Nope, it did not work. No such property driver. Sure, that's true because it's agent. Uh-oh, Pepsi's gone. Okay, we've got the speed. Yay! Center camera. Nope. Okay, control. Nope. Oh, yeah, so there's a lot of jitter. Forces being applied when they shouldn't be. errors in the math, but I think she won't drift around the corners anymore. That is correct. She does not drift around the corners anymore. And that is a controllable phenomenon. Like that is the that is this value. Basically, how much do we resist the existing velocity? Oh, son of a sheep herder. Can I cast object body state with class body state to class body state? That seems incorrect. I think you are confused. Losing viewers. I'm boring you guys. Or it's getting late. Oh, come on. Let's make some progress. Okay, so as soon as I control it and move her a little bit, the speed starts to jitter. But she never should go faster than 6 meters per second. That's cool, man. It's all right. We had like, according to the concurrent viewers, I thought we had like 9 on it at some point. But it's hard to tell if that is correct or not. Okay, so when we so she can go 6, yeah, because that's a run speed. The way I've got this set up, which means shift actually can't get up enough to run faster because there's not enough room unless I jump over the wall, which is possible actually. We can jump over the wall. So if I do shift and run, she should eventually be able to get up to, yeah, about 12 meters per second. Almost 12. Yep, friction keeps it from actually getting to 12. Okay, so we can jump back into the zoom. Okay. Alright, so there's still a lot of jitter. I keep thinking tab to get back into the control mode. So there's still a lot of jitter. And the target speed, yeah, max speed. So I looked back and in Mythruna, the walk speed from a controller, like if you were pushing the joystick forward, walk is 1.0 and run is just double that, so 2.0. And so so that'll make running. Oops. So there's something going on here with the body state. So I'm thinking I'm going to change the name of this in case it's colliding with the let's call it body context. In case it's colliding with the one from the other Groovy file. Because we never had this problem before. And I'm just thinking it might be because I've named it the same. And I don't think I have the word context anywhere else. Nope. So let's change state to context, and this one we'll want to check. Replace. State can show up in a variety of places, so it's not necessarily a safe one to just replace all, you know. Okay. before I run again, let me see if I can find where the jitter is coming from. So we don't clamp actual velocity anymore. Which is good because we weren't... Oh, you know the other thing I'm not doing? In here, we set the damping. Somewhere I set the linear damping of the physics body. Pretty sure. Maybe that was in the real code. That could have been in the real code. Or am I thinking of the friction on the contacts? There it is. So we give it a little damping so that it doesn't just run away. But we're setting that every frame. We don't need to set that every frame. We can set that when we first... Okay, so that should get rid of a lot of our jitter. Oh, now we're down to 4 viewers. I think I might continue this. I mean, when I stop, I think I might continue right here where we left off, because we're really starting to get to the meat. I actually have jury duty this week, so it's not like I'm going to be working a ton on Mythruna if I get picked up for a trial or something. And I have a bunch of mid-year check-in reviews to do. Okay, so controlling... Yeah, so now we can walk at 3 meters per second. And we can run at 6 meters per second. And we can fly. Just like in Mythruna. Well, it feels a lot slower. I think maybe acceleration is slower. That doesn't make any sense though. So we've set that really high. Will it let me walk up the... Yeah, see, it's making me walk crooked. I bet that's because of the normal force being pushed. Yeah, I think it's because she's got that 1 foot forward. Like if I could like line her feet up better, it would... Yeah. It's hard to say. But she can walk up the things. Oh, the door's in the wrong place. There's actually a door. I wonder if she just feels slow because she's not animated, and because we're in third person. I may have to cut and paste the animation stuff over. Yeah, there's a door in the wall. See. All right, let's. In fact, let's do that. We'll hack in some animation just so that we have it. Yeah, that was... We did body config. We had a default movement animation. The driver and the actual speed. Sure. So we'll just copy this over to here. Whoops, there we go. And we will do this in here. Default movement animation. Takes the driver. Really, the driver? Okay, so yep, the driver and the actual speed. It's gonna blow up. It is. It's gonna blow up for the cast exception. Why are we suddenly getting dinged about class cast exceptions? We're not even changing that class. We never had that problem with the setup driver. It's going to make this really annoying. Before next week, I'll try to streamline this so that that class is formalized and we don't have to. Oh yeah, so she's got animation now. And this is where I can put back that, and the sleeve will blow up again if I put this back. Is it going to blow up? It is. So we've done something different. In setup controller line 289. Oh. It's this that's different. What we want to do is set an initializer so that we do this. Ooh, no, we want to do it every time. Every time the things get reset. But I could just do this. That'll fix it. Won't cast it at all then. Just use the old object. Yeah, it's supposed to not. Yeah, it's supposed to replace the old one. I think maybe we get one frame rendered at the. Anyway. So Fade should be animated now, and she shouldn't walk unless she's got a decent speed. Oh no. So she should be at idle right now. Oh, but that's not something we're doing either. Center camera. Like, we don't set her back to idle. The other one did. Yeah, so that's what we needed. We need something like this, which really should be built in. Oh man, so many things to do. So many things to do. Okay, so now she should go to idle. Cool. Alright. So that's all good. Now we can control her. Yeah, it does definitely feel faster when she's animated. Oh, she's actually... I think in the game she runs slightly faster than 3 meters. And she's like speeding up and slowing down, speeding up and slowing down. I wonder if I escape out of the controller if it'll remember her running. Yep, it will. Control. That's fun. Yeah, so there's a push-pull thing that's going on with her speed that's constantly ramping her up and down. And I think that's partly because of how much force I give. Right. Yeah, So what if I took this back to 250? I don't even remember what I use in Mythruna. Oh boy. Yeah, so every little jitter now, she wants to move. And she's still got a little bit of a push-pull thing going on. I don't think you guys can see it, but I can feel it when she's walking around. Like she speeds up and slows down, speeds up and slows down, speeds up and slows down. Like though the velocity doesn't seem to be doing that in the display. I wonder if it would be as noticeable if we were in her head. Like first person view. Either way, it's nice she's not like sliding around the corners anymore. Oh yeah, when she runs up hills, she does that thing that some games do where you have your physics momentum built up and you... Yeah. The jetpack. So that's the jetpack effect that we need to fix when she's not on the ground. When you're not on the ground, it should limit the amount of force you can use. Like when she comes running off the edge of this. Yeah. Actually, that's not too bad, now that I think about it. Alright, let's see, get her running up this steep hill. But this is where I kind of wanted to be, to get to play with this. Yeah, now see? So that comes back to the surface normal issue. Okay, actually, it's not too bad. Yeah, the climbing the walls thing. That's another thing that needs to be fixed. So it's like if she's up here and I push into the wall, she never moves down. Like if I come up here. There's... Oh, that's not good. She went through the wall. Holy crap. Nice bounce. Yeah, so this is the crux of the problem, is taming all of these forces so that... And I need to put her little joystick indicator back above her head like we had on the other side, but it's taming all these forces to make a character controller that, you know, takes steering input and does logical things with the environment. And that's the foundation of all of the other things, because if you can control the NPC with a joystick, then that is what the AI can use, that is what the player input can use, and so on and so forth. So I'll tweak this a little bit, but I'm going to try to get it to the point where by next week we can, I'll have like some of the class written and we can start tweaking like the performance and working on how this interacts with like the step up animation and stuff like that. Yeah, because this, I'll tweak this so that she stops like walking sideways. Because I still don't know why that's happening. Not exactly. I think, oh, maybe because we raised that back up. So this controls her acceleration, her resistance to movement. And so when I control her, will she get jitters again? And so, you know, every little jitter in the forces were being multiplied by, you know, 5 over what they were. So I'm going to figure out what Mythruna uses for its player, and we'll work on from that next week. But I think this is where I'm going to cut it off, because I could easily go for another 2 hours just tweaking this and making it perfect. If I can make it feel right for the player, then that's a good foundation. So the player works different anyway, but it's a good foundation for building up the NPCs. Man, we're getting really close to something here. I think you'll have to trust me, because we've been doing this a long time, the never-ending saga. Like this is episode 11 or something in this path, And I think I didn't start numbering them until we were few in, but anyway, that's where I'm going to kill it tonight. Oh yeah, I can't hit escape to get out anymore. So thanks for joining. I realize this has been a long journey, and I appreciate that you guys are, appreciate that you guys are on it with me. There we go, that's what I wanted. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We'll be here. I think I'm here again next week, no problem. But I will keep you guys posted. And thanks for watching.